everybody, so this is Jasmine Stith, aka the Pretty Plug. Today I'll be interviewing Mr. Harvey, a down-to-earth man who is a professor at Prairie View A&M University. He specialized in finance, but he has done so much more. I can't wait for you to meet him. I can't wait for us to dive into his journey from Texas A&M all the way to Prairie View A&M University. And not only that, but he's a father. He is a deacon at Church Without Walls, but this man is giving back so much to his community, and I just can't wait for us to dive into what we're going to talk about today. So you all check it out. Good. So, hello, Professor Harvey.
How you doing, Miss
I'm
Steve?
good. How are you?
I'm good.
So, today we are in South Africa. As you can see, our background is beautiful. And you guys, we've had a wonderful 10-day adventure here. And right now, I really want to dive into who Professor Harvey is. So, sir,
Yes.
Who are you? And how did you find Prairie View A&M University?
Well, I'm a native Houstonian. I always like to say that with pride. And I went to Texas A&M undergrad, and you got to pass Prairie View to get to A&M. And so, again, I've known about Prairie View, going to Labor Day Classic since I was knee-high to a pup. So, so yeah, very great institution.
Okay, so what do you teach here at Prairie View, and what did you study in undergrad?
Okay, so in undergrad I was an economics major. Enjoyed my time at A&M, spent some time at Prairie View, so I did a few PV homecomings.
Okay.
But and I currently teach personal finance and running a financial planning minor at Prairie View.
Okay, so what was it like going to Texas A&M? Like, what was that journey like, going from a PWI and now you're at a HBCU?
Well, I mean, going to A&M, it was a great time. I mean, it was college, so you know you're young and it's you're on your own, and it's more black people at A&M than one would think.
Okay.
Not all athletes, you know. I didn't play ball there, but it was a great time. And now, you know, teaching at HBCU, it's a great time as well. Again, you make the connections, you look to learn and give knowledge, obviously in this case, but a great time.
Okay, so do you believe that you found your calling and your purpose in life?
I do. You know, spending some time in corporate America, doing that and learning, growing in that environment was great. But I always said, you know, I was going to teach and have my own business. But I thought I'd be gray hair when that happened. But the Lord said something different, and it's awesome just this time in my life and having an impact. Also learning from the students as well. And, you know, running my own business is a great time. So, yeah, I'm definitely in my purpose.
Okay. So what is it like teaching students at Prairie View? And are they reaching your expectations?
Definitely. I mean, again, I would say this would be the case, you know, Prairie View and just any other institutions. You know, young people get a tough rap about not being, you know, driven and things like that, but that's definitely not the case. What really inspires me about the students at Prairie View is their entrepreneur spirit. That is one thing that just it excites me to see that. And again, to be, you know, obviously got to be honest and transparent that, you know, some people don't really understand what they have right now in the time of their life. But I think that's, you know, not synonymous with Prairie View students, but all young people. Okay.
So, you did work for Investico, which is an investment company, correct? So, what was it like to trade over $70 billion globally?
It was a great experience. Like I said, I was blessed to move up in the company, to become a portfolio manager and trade fixed income. It was great. Again, you know, you deal with, you know, different attitudes and but that's in any place in corporate America. But again, it was a great challenge. I enjoyed it. I had great success there, and it obviously prepared me for what I'm doing now, and also that insight that I can share with the students about corporate America.
Okay, so you are on a nonprofit board. Which one is that?
I serve currently and served on several nonprofits. I've served on the Black MBA, ABE, which is the American Association for Blacks in Energy. Currently on the University of Houston alumni, the College of Business Board.
Okay.
So it's a great experience, you know, trying to help and serve. I got my graduate degree from University of Houston, but then as you grow and, you know, you grow in your leadership skills, you want to serve on a different level to have hopefully a greater impact.
Right. And with him saying community service, he is a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated, and I feel like you are definitely achieving.
Thank you.
So along with a lot of your achievements, what can you tell others in order for them to take their first and second steps to achieving?
I think, obviously you want to go with your desire and passions. You see a gap and you feel it, right? And you feel it to the best of your ability. And that's how you begin achieving. But it comes with that desire to want to help. I would always like to say, you don't give to get, but if you give, you will get. So you don't do it for personal gain, but you're going to get some benefits from it too, but you're going to have that greater impact.
Okay, and I also wanted to travel back to our question, how does one get on a nonprofit board?
Again, it starts by volunteering, right?
Yeah.
And nonprofits, they have a need because they serve mostly underserved communities. But a lot of the board or the leadership are people that don't look like the community or the group that they serve.
Yeah.
So it's just about, getting in, understanding what the nonprofit does, learning about it, then using the skills that you have or in your professional life to help the board. I will say, one addition, I went through Project Blueprint in Houston. It's by the United Way, and it teaches you how to serve on a nonprofit board. So the ins and outs and the legal ramifications and things like that. So it's a great experience to help me better, to be more equipped to serve.
Okay, so you were featured in Houston's Who's Who in the 8th and 9th edition. How did that feel? And did they contact you? Did they email you? Like, how did they say, I want Mr. Harvey to be on Houston's Who's Who?
Man, it was, again, just blessed, and it was an honor. Again, being a native Houstonian and being highlighted as a leader in your city was a great experience. Again, it was from being a part of Houston Black Leadership Institute, my class. Again, the whole purpose of that organization is to merge older leaders with young and up-and-coming leaders to fill the gap and the knowledge gap. And so being a part of that class allowed me to be in that 8th edition.
Okay.
So definitely was, again, me trying to grow myself provided that privilege.
Okay, and if you see us flying or like swatting ourselves, you guys, we are in Africa, okay? So this is wildlife at its best.
Exactly, and we outside.
And we outside. We wanted to give y'all a nice view. So my next question, you serve as a deacon at the Church Without Walls. And what is the ministry that you facilitate over? And what have you been doing within the Church Without Walls?
So my wife and I, we joined the Church Without Walls. We've been members for about 14 years now. It's been just great. Pastor West, again,
Pass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes,
exactly. He's a great leader, teacher, preacher. And so our church provides many ministries for people to grow. I'm currently, and my wife and I serve in the Deacon Family Ministry, but I've done a lot of work in the men's ministry. We have a discipleship class where it just helps men grow and serve their purpose as spreaders of the gospel. Okay. And then we also have a great vacation Bible school. We call it Adventure Week, and that's when I get to touch the youth during that time. So it's good.
Okay, so you obviously have a busy schedule. You are a professor at Prairie View. You're serving the deacon ministry at Church Without Walls. How do you balance being a father and a husband and all of your many other achievements that you are acquiring throughout the years?
With prayer.
With prayer?
No, I don't. Humbly, like I said, I've just been blessed to be afforded a lot of different opportunities to serve, and I try to do my best. But again, it goes your priorities and how they line up. Obviously, God, family, community, and everything else. And so it's tough sometimes, but I try to keep that focus, right? Serving the Lord, which He's put me in charge and blessed me with a beautiful family, my wife and my two young boys. So I have to keep that perspective. That's what I'm called to lead that household first. And again, most of you know that behind and I'm not saying I'm a great man, but any good man is a great woman, a better woman. Oh. And my wife, LaWanda, is definitely that. But that's how it's done. Just, again, keeping priorities straight, knowing where, your main priorities are, and then finding time to have an impact because, again, trying to show my boys that you need to have an impact in this world.
Okay, so what are your boys' names and what are their ages? And you told me they're like ready for entrepreneurship and that's like pushing you to want to do more and who you are as a person already doing a lot. So just tell us about your babies.
Yeah, so my oldest son is 6. His name is Danny Cooper Harvey, so he's not a junior. So he has his own identity, but a little touch of dad. And then Dylan Jackson Harvey is my 4-year-old. And people call me DJ, so again, he has a piece of me as well, but again, his own personality. And again, as a father, especially of 2 young boys who are going to be men, it's my job to not only tell them what to do, but show them what to do. And so I'm getting out of my comfort zone in a lot of things because I don't want to limit. If they say, well, Dad, he was limited in this area, it may have them question. Again, I can't do everything. No one's perfect. I'm far from perfect, but it drives me to want to be the best I can, so that again I can not only tell them but show them what they need to do.
Okay. So what can you tell any young boy that may not have a mentor or a father? Because you know that happens a lot in the Black community, that a lot of people grow up without fathers. What can you tell them so that they can find the guidance that they need?
Find a mentor, right? Initially, and don't make excuses. Again, everybody has a story. Everybody has issues. I don't care if you quote unquote wealthy, you still have issues that you deal with. And it's easy to make excuses. At the same time, I understand things are difficult. Everybody has their cross to bear. But that's where, again, faith comes in, and knowing that you need to some gaps filled, and you look for those to be filled, and take advantage of those opportunities when they happen, and then turn around and give that back to someone else.
Okay. So my next question is, what do you want to tell them so they know they do have a fighting chance in this world despite the circumstances that may be put on them?
It's just your drive and your want to. What do you want out of life? I think I'm real big, you can ask any of my students, I'm real big on goal setting. But even before you can set a goal, you have to know what's possible.
Yeah.
And that comes with exposure. And so I would say, look for opportunities to see what's out there. Even, again, I'm not saying you have to travel. I mean, that helps. But again, in a circumstance where all you see is negative and positive, hopefully, preferably, there's someone coming in that community and showing you that you can do it.
Yeah.
And that's what you got to grab hold to. Again, going back to my previous statement, it's not fair that you don't see that every day. But if you see it, that means it's possible. And sometimes it takes the stretching of the mind and again, that drive to say, I can do it. And that's where it starts. And then you start getting information and saying, okay, how can I latch on to this person or latch on to this book? Right? Because again, you may not see it, but you can read about it, and that gives you that passion and desire.
Okay, since you mentioned books, what's a good book for somebody to pick up?
I'm partial to this book, The Crucible. It is faith-based, but it talks about going through the fire. And again, we were laughing earlier off camera about, both being Greek, and we're talking to another Greek, and, the perception of pledging and the negative connotations. But it's about being shaped and molded. And that's kind of what the book talks about, again, from biblical stories that have shaped the lives of great men in the Bible. And again, faith-based, I believe that true accounts. So it talks about the struggles that a person goes through and how they come out better for it. Again, obviously with the help of the good Lord.
Okay, and what was the most challenging part about transitioning from undergrad to your master's, and now you're still pursuing your PhD?
Well, I would say coming out of undergrad, just the perspective. Undergrad, it's a good time. During that time, you figure you just have to get a degree and everything's going to be great.
Yeah.
Again, that was the wrong perspective. You have to do well. And then, going through corporate America, then being further exposed, knowing that I did want to teach, I knew I had to get, advanced degrees. And so going back in and working at the same time and starting a family, it was challenging, but it was great. Again, knowing what the end goal was in mind. And then, working on the PhD is just, again, knowing that, there's more out there. There's more to learn, and I'm called to do more. So you have to equip yourself. Again, you got to be constantly learning. And again, it doesn't always have to be formal or traditional education, but one wants to continue to grow.
Okay, so what are your new ventures, and what can we expect to see from Mr. Harvey in the future?
Well, I would say just, again, more content and information around financial literacy, goal setting, and also working with some students at Prairie View. We're a pilot program where we're taking some students out to teach financial literacy to high school students. Again, I like to think I'm still young and cool, but not so much maybe. But again, having the information being presented by students closer in age, one, I feel like it'll further enhance the knowledge of the college students, but also, again, having that face to see, okay, this person's young, not much older than me, and they're budgeting, they understand finance, and they understand that tool to help their lives, and hopefully it's better received by high school students and junior high and youth.
Okay, so what are your main concerns that you see facing families financially, not only in the Black community, but in families as a whole, because not everyone has financial literacy. I'm from Palm Bluff, Arkansas. Financial literacy is not just floating around, okay? And how can they overcome those challenges?
Again, I like the fact that you said it's not just, in African American homes, it's in all homes. And again, across all ages, again, like I said, young people tend to get a bad rap, but, I sit down with families and people who want to retire and they just can't because they don't understand the tool of money or finance.
Yeah.
So I think, again, it's lack of information and then lack of understanding the tool or applying it. A lot of people say knowledge is power, but it's really the application of knowledge that's true power. And so you get the information, and then what do you do with it?
Yeah.
But again, you have to get it first. And so I agree that a lot of it's not floating around, but once it's presented to you, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
And so I think it's understanding where a person wants to be. That's why, like I said, go back to your goals. You understand where you want to be, and then you say, okay, what's going to help me get there? Oh, I want to be financially independent. Well, I need to start saving now. I need to stop spending everything I make. But again, it's being presented with that concept, but then truly grabbing hold of that and using it in your life.
Okay, so what is your true meaning of family? Like, what does family mean to you, and what does the Black community need to do in order to hone in on that family aspect? Because again, a lot of people don't grow up in two-parent households, but it's not just our community, but again, I try to target audiences through my questions. So what can we do better in the family aspect? What are we missing?
Well, again, everybody's upbringing is different. But for me, I was blessed to have people around. My mom, of course, my grandma, my great grandmother, for a number of years, and just being around them and the stories, right? And watching them work and have drive.
Yeah.
It helps. And then the people, in the church and in the schools I went to who cared and poured into me definitely, made me who I am. So again, shout out to all of them, Mount Zion Christian Academy. I went there for grade school. But I think just each one teach one, right? I mean, it's a simple phrase. It's probably, cliche, but it's really not, because it's those experiences that make up or bridge the gap, even if you have a two-parent home, because you grow up in the home. And again, right now, my boys love me. They think I'm the best, and obviously I hope that continues. I pray that continues. But when they hear it from somebody else as well, then it's like, okay, maybe dad has a point.
Yeah.
And so again, strategically, you want to place your kids or anybody you care about, around people that's going to have the same vision and also different experiences to show them and to give them that insight. And so I think that's part of that community upbringing. And they always don't have to look like you in the community. Yeah. Right? We can embrace other cultures, other languages to see, okay, what do they do, what's working for them, and have that be part of the circle.
Yeah. Okay, so I got another question for him. You all know that this YouTube channel, this show is centered around faith, walking by faith. And it also empowers the entrepreneur, the inspiration, the motivation that you need to actually go out and be an entrepreneur, because you do have faith that you can be successful. So what does walking by faith mean to you?
Walking by faith. Couple things. One, I would say that, first of all, I'm going to have challenges. I'm going to have issues. But my faith says, or I know the Bible says, that rain doesn't fall just only on the unjust, but the just as well. So I'm going to have challenges, but the difference is the Lord's going to be with me. So I can face them. I can deal with them. And it's going to make me better for it. So I have that faith that even through tough times, that he's going to be there for me and help me. The other part of the faith is faith in the direction he gives me to step out and do the things that he's equipped me to do, and faith that it's going to be okay. So it's one of those things. And again, it's tough. Sometimes you're like, Lord, really? You want me to do that?
Yeah, you want me to do that? Right.
But again, having the faith and understanding that he wouldn't ask me to do it if I couldn't do it, or he couldn't help me do it.
Right. Okay. So my bonus question. We are in South Africa currently, and why do you think it's so important for not only the youth to travel, but people to travel and to brand themselves globally? What's important about globalization in today's time?
Well, again, and it's funny you say that, because it's been an amazing trip. But one of the speakers talked about, you know, because again, it's a joke about, you know, what's going on in America and things like that, and how everybody's talking about nationalism, right? Having pride in where you're at and taking care of home, which, again, I understand that to a great degree. Like I say, Houston, H-Town, I'm represent all day. But the key is to get outside of Houston, get outside of the comfort zone. Obviously, starting locally to other states and then other countries. Again, if blessed for the opportunity to get the exposure and get the insight of how other people live, and then you see some commonalities.
Yeah.
And then you can see some things where others do things better or maybe differently than we do.
Yeah.
But also for them to see you. And for you to shed a light on what they may think about where you're from and your neighborhood. Again, you take a person maybe that's from Third Ward, and they go out and go to a PWI, and then they say, okay, well, yes, he doesn't look like, he or she doesn't look like me, but they're smart, they're intelligent, they can carry a conversation. Now that shapes their view of how they see people from inner city.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're grown by their experiences. So it's important for a person to step out of their comfort zone. Anytime you can gain different experiences, whether it's through food, through social media, and then obviously experiencing it, touching it for yourself, it'll enhance you and the people you touch.
Right. So Mr. Harvey will be doing motivational speaking in the future. He does want to come to the inner city communities to definitely speak. So where can they find you? If they look at this interview, they're like, man, I gotta have Mr. Harvey. Like, he needs to come talk to me. I need to be motivated. Where do they need to find you at? Of course, we'll link the information below this YouTube video, but where do they need to find you?
Well, you can contact me at danny.harvey12@gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, Danny Harvey. I'm also on LinkedIn. You can find me there, and Twitter, Mr. Danny Harvey.
Okay.
So again, Jasmine here and another student at Prairie View is helping me. Again, I'm there. I'm obviously teaching, hopefully making an impact, but they're also making an impact on me. And so just reach out to me. Again, I speak currently. I really have, I feel, something to give to various audiences, youth, adults, and various cultures. So that's how you can find me.
Okay, well, you guys, this has been an extraordinary interview. This has been an extraordinary trip. South Africa is beautiful. You know, you'll see so many YouTube videos that I am helping to create. All the students that Mr. Harvey and Dr. McNeil have just really, they've poured into us in this trip to even get us here, and they plan to do this in the future. So I just want to thank you for being on my Walk by Faith show. And
my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes. And I'll link everything below. And you guys, check out Mr. Harvey. He's amazing. And we got a living legend at Prairie View. Y'all have to recognize that we have greatness right here. And you have to utilize that. Go talk to him in his office. Quick, get out the bed. Go talk to him. Okay, well, that's all, folks.